Oh, fuck. All right. Hello, everyone. Today, I thought I try and do something different with the channel. I'm joined here by three lovely gentlemen. They're known as Monday Madness. They have a really, really excellent YouTube channel. Oh, what are you laughing at? Do you want to be fucking complimented or not? Like, do you want?
Well, now, again, whether it's a compliment or not, Monday Madness is a bit of our, that's our parole board hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've watched their top 100 video games, and it was a very well thought out list. It was very entertaining. They're three very funny lads, and I recommend checking out their channel if you get the opportunity. They're very into point and click adventure games, so if that interests you, you might enjoy their channel. They're okay?
Yeah, we can go with that.
It's the check in the mail, yeah?
That's fair. It's basically all my computer can run, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So the check's in the mail now, yeah?
Yeah. It's getting processed. 3 working days, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, grand. So now we can move on to that.
Put that out yet.
So now we'll move on to that.
Sorry, do you accept exposure for payment?
Yeah, so for this video, I was thinking recently about a lot of how Ireland is represented in video games and how it's kind of like a mixed bag. You have a lot of stereotypical representation, like
very much so. Yeah.
The character Irish from Red Dead Redemption, I would not call a positive representation of Irish characters in gaming. Whereas someone like who's a good Irish character?
We're nothing like him, to be fair.
Yeah. But there is a lot of positivity when it comes to Ireland too, because we've developed some great games. We've there's some good levels, some memorable locations that have been set in Ireland, and we're just trying to positively represent Ireland in this video, and just maybe draw your attention to some indie developers or who may also interest you with some of the stuff they've created, because there's a lot of talent out there. So yeah.
Yeah, we're actually kind of quite lucky in that sense, aren't we? Like, there's quite a lot of like people mix in that conversation. Like one game we've kind of covered on the channel, review wise, was Darkside Detective, Neil, wasn't it? That was one of your particular favorites.
Yeah, developed by a three-person studio called Spooky Doorway. It's basically a point-and-click detective set in a weird Twin Peaks style city called Twin Falls, and it's just the writing in it is just absolutely brilliant. Essentially, if you're a fan of say Father Ted or any kind of Irish sitcom, you'll just absolutely love Darkside Detective. It's just hilarious. It's got some brilliant characterization. There's a sequel as well to it, which is longer and it's even better, and does actually have a level set in Ireland, which is great. So a level set in Ireland written by Irish people.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. What could possibly go wrong? Yes, it's got druids. It's got druids and shit in it as well. So
this is a game that has like an option for police corruption, right? And it's set to on initially. And if you go through it, there's no option to turn it off.
Exactly. Like all the graphics options on it are just basically just taking the piss out of you. It's like, your computer can't possibly run this supercomputer level. But the graphics never change. Like, it's all just still pixelated point and click. And it's really a fantastic game, Darkside Detective. It's truly funny. Like, it is a truly funny game. It's brilliant.
Like for a point of comparison, like people we a lot of that credit, and then Darkside is better.
The first Darkside Detective came out a couple of years back, but the sequel only dropped a couple of months ago. So there's that. There's other like really great games you can pick up on Steam that were developed by like little indie games. Guild of Dungeoneering is a really, really good one. If you've heard of the game Loop Hero, Guild of Dungeoneering is the game that they kind of borrowed the idea from, in that it also is a game whereby you don't control your character going through the dungeon. You play cards that make the dungeon up in front of him. And the game is a balance of strengthening your character up and giving him loot and not making it so difficult that he gets absolutely murked on the way around. And that's brilliant. They've also got the same company who did that Guild of Dungeoneering. They're doing Cardpocalypse. It's another game coming out on Steam.
Cardpocalypse, yeah. That has a really great theme tune. Listen to the theme tune for that. It's the most fucking catchy.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, exactly. That's being developed by an Irish studio, the same people who did Guild of Dungeoneering. So yeah, there's loads of things, and you don't even need to go into indie games to represent Ireland. There's bigger ones like No Man's Sky. The creator of that was Irish, guy from Galway or Cork.
Sean Murphy.
Either way, I'll have pissed him off.
Basically the same.
Yeah. So there's that. So there's that. The Star Trek Fleet Command, which was kind of like the Star Trek online mobile game, but that made something like $30 million that generated in revenue, which wound up actually getting the Irish company bought out. I think they wound up getting bought out by some US conglomerate.
Dude, you've done so much more research on this than anyone. I think we should just leave and let you talk for the next half an hour by yourself.
That's always my intention when Neil comes on.
Yeah, we're passengers. We're happy to let him take the lead.
Sort of. I'm getting to that point. I can't remember what philosopher said it, but I'm at the stage where I kind of think the more I find my own voice, the more I realize I hate the sound of it. That's kind of the point where I'm at.
We love it.
But also, so there's AAA games. Empire of Sin, the latest kind of collage between, it's kind of like a cross between XCOM and Gangsters. That was developed in Galway it was developed by Romero Games, who are Americans, but they live in Galway. They teach, I think actually, John Romero's wife teaches in NUIG. She teaches game development.
Oh, wow.
So you can actually go there and be taught by her.
Yeah, the only problem is you have to go to Galway.
Yeah, the only problem is it's Galway. It's just fantastic. So there's wide ranges of Irish developed games from indie and wide game varieties. There's a wonderful little game that we reviewed. That I reviewed called If Found, which is a wonderful kind of graphic, but it's a take on the graphic novel genre that I've not seen before.
Yeah.
And it's set on an island off the coast of Ireland back in the mid-90s, and it deals with basically trans issues and LGBTIQ issues as well, and it does it in such a wonderful way. And the best part about the game, the one part I really love, is that it's not a sanitized Irish thing. So they use proper Irish terms and then just have a little lexicon for people who aren't Irish. You don't know. So people who don't know what the Late Late Toy Show is, because it's set around Christmas. It's set in December. So people who don't know what the Late Late Toy Show is, and there's a little star, and you can click a button, and it'll tell you what it is.
Actually, on your recommendation, I played this, and I got through it all in one sitting. I spent 4 hours just listening to this beautiful story. Yeah, that is heart-wrenchingly Irish.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a good game?
It cuts to the core with how fucking.
Yes, it's very good. It's a visual novel kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
what I mean is would you get the same out of watching it online, or is it just as enjoyable to play? Would you recommend you play it more than watch it, if you know what I mean?
I would recommend everybody play this. Yeah. You can watch it and it would be good. I would love to. Funnily enough, I actually say this in my review. I would love to see somebody who is trans play this game and see what they got out of it.
Well, I know a few trans people, so I could ask them and see.
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear their thoughts. Yeah,
it would be absolutely brilliant to get them to do it, because it was developed and written by a trans person. Yeah. And the artwork as well is fantastic. The artwork is done by an Irish comic book artist called Leah Young. Yeah. And
it's a beautiful.
It's just a wonderful. It's truly brilliant. Like If Found is really a jewel, and it was the fact that it was put out by Annapurna, and then Annapurna are kind of like they're the mark of quality when it comes to indie gaming. Like if they put it, it's enough for Annapurna to put out a game that I will buy it.
Yeah, they have a great track record of that. And you can kind of see why. Like there's the way it just changes. Like there's just a small like little transitions. The way to do things, it just makes it feel so much more unique. And that's what that game is. It's just uniqueness in like a nutshell.
Every character as well is really well flashed out. You can relate to every character whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Which is just something I find phenomenal about the game.
Yeah. I'd imagine everyone knows a character.
Yeah, in a way, like this is kind of yes. And that's definitely the case. Like, I mean, there's like certainly in If Found, you do kind of get like there's certain characters that you will know straight away, or like you can kind of latch on to a similar personality trait. Like the brother in the game, I think Neil mentioned in the review, is like one of the greatest villains of all time, just for being an arsehole.
Yeah. He's easily the most unlikable character I've encountered in any game.
He's acting like an Irish Big Brother.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, it's such an understandable trait because we know it. We know it quite well.
You absolute bollocks! Can you not just be happy for him once in his life? Like, do you have to sully everything? I know. Look, you've taken time out of your day to come here, showing you do care.
Yeah.
Yet you're being such a dick about it.
Yeah,
he is a character that will have you openly cursing at your monitor. You know, to the point where people will probably come into the room and go, "Are you okay?" Yes, I'm fine. Fuck off.
You've been staring at this half-drawn picture of a girl for 20 minutes.
It's very complicated.
Very complicated.
Let me explain. But yeah, no, they're great. That's a great example because that is such an all-Irish production as well. Like it's literally like as kind of Irish as it gets because even the writing is Irish in a sense. It doesn't cut any corners. Like. And fair play to Laura McGee for writing it, but like God love her for trying to describe what Bosco is, for example. Like that, how does that translate?
The lexicon entry for Bosco, like there's lexicon entries for rashers. Like I wouldn't have known. Like I've lived in Canada, and I would have called bacon rashers throughout the whole thing. So I've actually explained that, and I just totally forgot. Oh yeah, they don't call it that. Shit, just a kids.
Every Canadian open through a conversation with you going, yes, I know what they are.
I know that is, yeah.
That's actually something that's relatable because my grandparents are from the north where they call a 99 a poke. Oh. They've been down here and like gone into to get an ice cream and said, give me a poke. What the fuck? He's soliciting me.
And
come back after we're closed.
Yeah.
Do you think the accents and all that and the vocabulary, do you think that could stop people in foreign countries from getting it, like enjoying it? Or do you know what I mean? Like, you know the way Dairy Girls, everyone seems to watch that with fucking subtitles. Like, is it?
Well, now to be fair, this is told through an adventure, so the writing is always there. You're actually revealing scribbled out notes.
Oh yeah, that's true. But does it use a lot of Irish vocabulary, like, you know,
in other games
and stuff like that? You know, like
Yeah, they've had to describe what crack is. Like,
yeah, crack does get described. Yeah, yeah, but
now all Irish people love their crack.
We do.
We're absolutely mad for crack.
In fact, you could say it. We're crack fiends.
Yes, all of us as a culture.
You know, I'm not sure I want to put up this video anymore of us saying we love crack over and over again. I'm already in enough shit with
Have you had enough crack yet? Do you want some more crack?
Like, YouTube have already I've already got a strike from YouTube. I don't need another one, you know? Maybe I'll put a little fucking disclaimer in the top right-hand corner explaining what crack is.
Hey, ahead of you.
You need the lexicon from If Found on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
That's it. But that's a good example.
Yeah, so that's good examples. But like you can branch out from there and get to games now that have prominent Irish characters in them.
Yeah, here's where I'm going to admit to something. These fuckers gave me the wrong homework. I didn't realize we were talking about Irish developed games.
Irish everything.
Well, I've covered that, so now we can just launch into the.
Can-
Now we can
can
just
you cover
launch
the rest
into
as well? You think
games
it
with
might
Irish characters.
Yeah.
God, that's great. Irish characters. Ooh, there's just so few of them. Where do we start?
Well,
Can we
it's
talk- can we
quite
talk about
surprising. Like, it's
Atlas?
surprising.
Can we talk about Atlas?
Yeah.
What a great
Was
fucking
he even
Irish
actually?
character.
Hang on, wasn't he just faking being Irish?
Yeah, he was. The most fucking. We couldn't have an Irish villain. We had to have some dickhead putting on an Irish accent for some reason. Like, why did he even do that? Why did he even. Like, and he's through the whole game, he's like, me wee Moira and all this shit. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is the Irish accent about? Like, it serves no purpose.
I think it was like again, BioShock being set in that time period. The Irish were the labor class there. I think he was trying to come off as, you know, your friendly labor class, working class
Man of the people type deal. Yeah. Makes sense.
Atlas is actually a very good example because when I was looking up Irish characters, he did not show up in any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's not Irish.
Such a fucking prick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Act.
another character that I was pissed off didn't show up in any is your father from Fallout 3, despite the fact that he's voiced by Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, yeah.
Oh yes, Fallout. Yeah.
Now, my theory in this, because there are Irish characters introduced later on, is that Liam Neeson is actually Irish. Or not Liam Neeson, your father.
Yeah.
my theory is Liam Neeson might be Irish.
Wait till the world finds out he's Irish. Holy shit.
Character
Gonna
called
blow their mind.
Dowell in the game, who is Irish apparently. So
Yes. Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, well, not to show their hand, but they did make one of the few characters that is canonically very evil is actually British in Fallout 3. That's Alistair Tenpenny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of shows whose side this history falls on here.
Yes, very much so.
Isn't the guy who runs the bar in Fallout 3 Irish? Moriarty.
Oh, he could be, yeah. That's a good point. Is he?
Yeah, he's one of the first people you've run into. He runs the bar in Megaton.
It's been a few years now since I played.
Look, I never even considered him.
I think, like, yeah. Now, are they going, like, you know yourself, like, when they say, like, Irish, do you actually mean, like, Irish American, or are they properly going Irish?
No, he's meant to be. Hang on.
There's Irish characters in Grand Theft Auto
Get the
4.
Boys,
internet.
we're pulling it up on the big screen.
Yeah, Colin Moriarty. Yeah,
There you go.
Colin.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Moriarty's bar. Yeah.
There you go. Happy days.
And he's such a large character in the series. Like,
But
always talking to him.
He's a great lad, he is, really.
Now, to be fair, that actually brings us from Fallout 3, where they had good representation for Irish, to one of the things I hated about Fallout 4. Now, I've done nothing but shit on this game since it launched.
Rightfully so.
But can we talk about Kat, the companion from Fallout 4? Oh my god. Played by a Scottish actress, putting on a bad Bostonian Irish accent. And oh my god, it's so cringe that I actively had to go out of the way in my 3 playthroughs to make sure I killed her. That's not avoided her. That's recruited her, got her affiliation with me so negative that she would attack me so that I could then put her down.
All over an accent.
And it's not even all over the accent. As I say, like fucking Kate Townsend, I'm sure is a fantastic actress. I'm sure I couldn't have done a better Irish accent with the direction she was given for that character. Oh my god, it's just the most egregious, fiddle-dee-dee potato accent in modern video games.
Oh, it's crazy. Actually, funnily enough, when you mentioned Red Dead there, with Irish in the first one, in the second one, they'd Sean, who actually, when we just popped on there, I was talking about it, and I laughed because there's a scene in Red Dead 2 between, was it Morgan is the lead character in Red Dead 2? It's been so long since I played that fucking game. It's such a fucking forgettable game. Between Morgan and Sean. between Morgan and Sean, and you because you're on a cart and it's one of those talky scenes. Yeah. And I'm going like, this is weird because I know Morgan is voiced by a guy from Dublin who's putting on a Western Texan, or whatever that accent is. And Sean his character is from Dublin, but his voice actor is from Cork.
Okay. And
then midway through the wagon ride, he claims to be from Connemara. He claims to have missed his home in Connemara. And I'm going, hang on. Like,
well, no,
maybe he owns a house out there. To be fair.
Did nobody ask the Irish voice?
Just outside Dublin.
Yeah. It's like this is Connemara twinned with Fox Rock or some shit like that. Like.
As they say, you know the where the Irish voice stereotype comes from. Mm-hmm. It's because most of the first people that go to America came from Cork. People, when they were trying to mock the Cork accent, would put on that Irish accent. It's because all the coffin ships left from Cork, so the first people to go were fucking Cork.
Well, like with regards to like Fallout 4 not hiring like a proper Irish voice actress, you know, I'm like when you look at Dark Souls 2 getting Ruth Negga in,
yes,
you know, I'm like Ruth Negga's been nominated for a fucking Oscar.
She is a legitimate Ethiopian Irish actress. Like, she's fucking love-hate at so many shows.
Yeah.
We're just
everything.
She's actually able to act first and foremost.
And she's great as what's the Dark Souls 2 character? I actually said it earlier on and I can't remember it now.
The Emerald Herald channel.
The Emerald Herald, yes.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a stellar performance. And this actually brings me into something that I loved. I mean, Dark Souls is set in a fictional land, but everything that FromSoft for the Soulsborne series seems to set it European and mostly somewhat England-centric. Yeah. So we've got the likes of Welsh characters. So in Dark Souls 1, you've got Aishivai, the merchant, who Dunma of Corin or something, who sells you a load of things, and he's really obviously Welsh. And there's another Irish character in Dark Souls 2, he's voiced by Conor Byrne. He's a Lathersmith Gilligan, who is just the most salty, unapologetic bastard you'd ever meet. He's such a shifty shyster. He's like, what the fuck, would you be stuck cotton on with yourself? I only sell ladders. Are you going to buy one or not? Get the fuck away from here. Can't you see I'm hiding? I stole some gold off that fella. It's like so fucking good. And actually, he then plays a part in another Soulsborne game, Bloodborne. He gets one line, and I think it is one of the best lines in the series. And this is one of my favorite video games. It's he's potentially the first boss you encounter, who is he's Father Gascoigne.
Father Gascoigne,
who is a hunter. Yeah,
fucking legendary.
He's a hunter of the Healing Church, and you just walk in on him, eviscerating a werewolf, going, "Ah, Jesus. There's beasts all over the show. You know what? You'll be one of them yourself. Come on."
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
And that's it. That's his whole characterization throughout the whole game.
No, as I say, it's fucking brilliant stuff. And the name Father Gascoigne is actually expanded upon in his clothes, where they say, he's a Healing Church hunter. But the Healing Church doesn't have a term like father. He must come from another land. And that's obviously alludes to that he's Irish. Yeah. And it's also alluding to the fact that, you know, he's not a priest, he's not a father. He's literally a father, which ties into like his two daughters' storyline, which is heartbreaking if you actually find it. And I think that's, you know, just giving him an Irish accent to tie in with that whole Catholicism is so fucking well interwoven into the story.
Pretty clever.
Yeah.
In this fictional fucking Lovecraftian world where they managed to pull Irish and English and Welsh into it.
No. Did From Software do Neo?
They did not. No.
No,
All
no,
right, then.
Neo is another good example of Irish characters in Japanese RPGs.
Yeah.
Because Neo himself is blessed by the goddess Saoirse, which is why he doesn't die.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Isn't there one of the JRPGs has a fucking Ku Kulin as a summon?
Oh, like Shin Megami Tensei and Persona have borrow heavily from all of Irish mythology.
He's Ku Kullen's an Esper in Final Fantasy 12.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember in Final Fantasy, which is the one with is it 8 or 9? Oh, it's 9. In Final Fantasy 9, the lead character, his ultimate weapon sword was the Cladabulloch, which is an ancient Irish sword that was rumored to be so sharp it could cut a hill in half. And yeah, so that was weird. And it's a weird Celtic looking blade as well. It's a weird fucking thing. I was going, ooh, that's a really good fucking. Yeah, I like that one. I was like, so there's loads of little things. The fact that like the first Irish character I ever saw in a game, which was the Japanese game, which was a Bushido blade.
Yes, you mentioned this fellow. Yes.
It's kind of like got me into stuff that I love is Bushido blade. I'm like, if there's ever a game that literally needs to be remade in the day and now, it's Bushido blade. But yeah, Black Lotus in it is from Dublin. And they even have like shots of, if you end the game, if you run through the game as him, there's like shots of Dublin in his ending and everything like that. It's really, really good. But he is actually the villain of the game. If you play as any other character, he's always the fucking villain.
What's the Irish for samurai?
Yeah. I have no idea, but it was just so weird. I was going, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Is he in Bushido Blade 2 as well?
But yeah, I don't think he's in Bushido Blade 2.
He gets killed off, doesn't he? Like, so I don't think he is in this.
Yeah, I think the canon is that he dies.
Yeah. He never gets
because he's the enemy of the first one. He's not really the enemy. Essentially, the kind of the Bushido Blade is a really threadbare kind of story-ish. It's basically you've escaped from a compound and you're being hunted down, and he's actually kind of like the chief mercenary. He's a merc, and he's just hired to go kill you. Bushido Blade, I fucking love that game. I love the fact that the game just, if you didn't abide by the laws of Bushido, it just wouldn't allow you to progress past like the fourth fight and slagged you off for being a cheating bastard.
And how do you keep
because at the start of every fight, the characters bow to each other, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just pull out your sword and attack.
It's kind of like an arcade fighter in a sense. Like you do just kind of go through like it's kind of like a Mortal Kombat setup, but it is just done with like sword fighting instead, isn't it?
It's kind of like one hit.
But like it's done like one hit is a kill.
Yeah.
You know.
You can take out their legs and they'll crawl along on the ground. But yeah, most of the time one hit will kill.
Yeah, they can limp around. Yeah.
No, look, it looks fast. Like to be fair, I've played a bit of it myself. Like it's looking pretty good. Like
the only problem is that it's the one where
it also had
like one sword killing you. Come on.
It also had a weird you could play it in like first person perspective. It was really weird. It had that option in it. You could play it as that, and it was really, really crazy.
You could also play the game through leg cable. If two of you had a copy of Bushido Blade, 2 televisions, 2 PlayStations, you could play it side by side like that as well.
Yeah, I was the only person I knew who owned it, but we used to always play like Red Alert and Red Alert 2, Red Alert and Command and Conquer with the link cables. Yeah. Get that. They were fun.
But as a point of comparison to when you're talking about like that's the first Irish character you found. First one I found was the fucking learner driver from Destruction Derby.
we were constantly bringing this up.
Now, I'm not saying that because the developers were Brits, they just thought it'd be funny to have an Irish driver to be the shittest one in the game. But fuck is, to be honest.
To be fair, we do drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
That's true. This is like that was literally is. It's like because they had like full details of all the drivers in there, and you have all the cool drivers who are British and American and Canadian and whatever else there, and then the one who deliberately drives into walls is the Irish guy. So well, fuck you too then. Like that's a great start to our
Well, he's the one who's drunk, you know.
That's true. I think that's you know what, that's probably what they were going for, and that is
he's actually just ginger, and he has the learner driver L taped to the front of his jacket.
And he had the kick me sign on the back of him as well. Like so.
No, I love that game. That was actually a brilliant game.
You know what? No word of a lie. Like that guy actually won a race in one time I was playing it. I was just so happy for him. Like I was actually proud of him. It's like finally he's come of age.
Jonathan just had to wedge his car across the track in front of all other cars.
Yeah, I bump drafted him to the start line. That's what I did, and it worked. You can't say it didn't. But yeah, like that's kind of on the topic of like very bad Irish characters, and
I think they've all been very bad Irish characters so far. To be honest,
I've got a pretty good one.
Well, one was a badass ninja. I mean, well, samurai.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I quite liked Black Lotus.
Yeah, I know.
I had three great ones that weren't technically Irish.
It's a fair point. But the one I had in mind, like I think the worst one, and it's just because the character himself is terrible, is the guy from Watch Dogs, Aidan Pearce.
Aidan Pearce. I was about to say, yeah,
he is nowhere. He is Irish, yeah, but going by personality and the way he acts, he's about as Irish as fucking Oliver Cromwell. Like the guy
that game just makes me want to vomit blood as well. It's such a terrible game.
He maybe stop playing the game. Like he's such an unlikable human being, you know. And it's just like I don't want to play with you as you anymore.
And this is coming from Jonathan.
Yes.
The man who has gone on record as saying he doesn't like kittens.
Mm-hmm. No. You cannot quote me on that.
I literally am quoting you.
No, you didn't.
Jonathan Nolan, all cats are assholes.
That's a lie. But no, that guy is Watch Dogs is like is a pretty like poor game by all accounts. It's just another flavored sandbox game. Yeah. But what really makes it that bad is the main character, because you just don't want to play with him. You don't want to play as him. And like I can't think of actually anything positive about him. He's just one of the worst protagonists I've ever seen. And bear in mind, during this time I had also been playing like Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah. So it just gone from one horrible protagonist to another, and just went, have you just forgot what heroes are? You know, like they just completely lost sight of it. Like, you know, Rayman's there locked up in a cage going, let me fucking out. And here they are.
I am fun.
That's actually that's a nice segue is the Assassin's Creed series with their Irish characters.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a whole level set in Leinster, doesn't it? Like Dublin.
Yeah, yes, the Viking DLC bullshit, right?
Yeah, the Druids one, isn't it? It's based around Druids and shit.
Yeah.
Black Flag had Anne Bonny in it, didn't it?
Yes.
Now, I don't know if we're counting historical figures as Irish characters.
You can count that, yeah. I think so.
Pretty badass anyway, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like fucking crude with Blackbeard, so yeah. I think she's a true pirate queen, all right, yeah.
Absolutely, we'll take that. One of the lads.
Yeah, we haven't actually mentioned many female characters, have we?
Wasn't the ones from Tekken, weren't they?
Nina Williams.
Sisters.
Yes.
Williams sisters, yeah.
Yeah, the Williams sisters.
And their father, Richard Williams, in Death by Degrees, which was Nina's spin-off game, right?
Oh, I'd never played that. Was he actually in it?
Yeah, it tells their origin where he gets brutally mowed down in front of her.
Oh.
That's a bit of a shame.
So yeah, what's the story? Richard Williams, her father, was Ireland's foremost assassin. And he trained his daughter
a lot of them, to be fair,
up until the age of 8 on how to be assassins. And they took those lessons to heart, God bless them. They entered the Tekken tournaments.
I mean, yeah, it's a good way of honouring their memory, isn't it? Like, it's like, well, is this the closest thing we can get?
The Williams sisters hate each other, though, don't they? I'm not talking about like the tennis players. I'm talking about,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, they do hate each other. Yeah, they do.
There was a family in Grand Theft Auto 4 who were Irish.
The McCreary's, yeah. They were kind of more Irish Americans, but like Paddy was ironically enough, the guy called Paddy was the most Irish of them all.
Yeah.
Like, and he's the one you become.
We're distinguishing Irish and Irish American now. Then we're really getting in trouble.
We kind of have to scrape the bottom of the barrel here, don't we?
We started with fucking
Irish Red Dead Redemption or something.
Yeah, this is it. But
I don't think they were bad. I don't think they were a bad representation of Irish characters. They were funny and they were, you know.
A bit of crack about Paddy, in fairness. The rest of them were a bit miserable, but the thing that was kind of the point was that, like, they were Irish American. Like, the whole theme of the game was like they didn't get what they bargained for in America, and then half of them were just moaning about paying mortgages. And Paddy's going, "Let's fucking rob a bank." And that was pretty much it.
They were criminals. I will state that.
Yes, they are a crime family.
Sure, they robbed a couple of banks, but they were good lads at heart.
They meant well, like, they really do. Like, they're great footballers. Great footballers. Yeah. Just find any fucking positives about them. Yeah, they were functions. They were massive psychopaths, but man, they had a great.
They're not Aidan Pierce.
Like, oh man, they could. Yes, that's a start.
You know what? That's enough for me to be friends with them.
There you go. You got my money.
They went to mass every Sunday. You can't say they didn't.
No, that's true. That is true. That is proof. I mean, to be fair, like, if we are properly going to scrape the bottom of the barrel, like, we can talk about the game about Irish sports that was developed in Australia. Like, so,
oh my God.
GAA football I've played, and I think it perhaps is the worst PlayStation 2 game I've ever played. And I got one of those games.
Isn't this the one that actually doesn't have the proper rules for GAA implemented into it?
Yes, it's actually an Aussie rules game, but they just repackaged it as Gaelic Games football.
Jesus Christ. Because I remember everyone said when it came out that they couldn't score points. Like, everyone always said that.
Yes.
You might get 1 or 2 points per game. I was like, how the fuck?
It's impossible to win. Like, every game is a fucking draw on it.
That's GAA, lads. Have you never watched a properly played game of GAA?
Especially against a Croker in the semi-finals. Yeah, man. It's crazy how they all end up as draws, isn't it? It's mystery, isn't it? Oh, mad.
And that's why Dublin always wins.
Yes.
But the hilarious thing is, like, it actually, like, it has authentic commentary, so it has all the counties in it. But they're just like, it's just the jerseys, the colours, not even the jerseys. And then the names are just randomly generated, and it's just like the most generic Irish surnames, and then just a random letter. So you'll have like your back line is like X Morrissey and Z O'Neill and like F Fitzgerald. You know, it's just like, okay, well, I guess they could exist. Who knows? And then the actual the commentary is Michal Murtic doing it, and
he's probably like, what the?
I'm not gonna lie, he sounds drunk doing. He sounds hammered doing it. In fairness, like, and it's just like, I don't know if that's because he was drunk doing it, or it's just the game is so bad, it's like playing his speed slower, or his speech slower, because he just, like, every time he goes, like, and they're all going into halftime now for a cup of tea and the slices of orange. Like, all right, mate, sit down, relax, like. But no, it's an awful game. It's a terrible game. I really can't stress that.
Somebody get this man some cocaine.
The worst thing is they made a sequel and it was hurling, and that was somehow worse.
Oh, wow.
That was fucking awful. Absolutely terrible.
Like, it's like Gaelic football, but quicker.
Do we need to explain hurling to people now?
I think they'll discover that in their own time, I think.
Because if we are, then we could bring this back around to Coo Hullen.
Yes.
That's true, actually, yeah. We can. But, oh no, that was pretty bad. I'm trying to think now, like, it's
game set in Ireland.
I suppose, again, if we're trying to, like, there has to be a
level set in Ireland. It was actually one.
Wasn't it the tutorial? Yeah.
No, it was the third level. It was like
level 8 as well. I think she went to it a couple of times. No, it's ages since I played this.
Yeah, it's the third level. You're playing as
it's a load of flashbacks as told by her friends.
Yeah, you're playing as a teenage Lara Croft, and you're staying with a priest, and I think the priest goes missing or something.
Was it? It's Patrick something, isn't it? Bram Patrick.
Yeah. I mean, already that should be alarm bells ringing. You know, you're staying with an Irish priest.
To be fair, she's not his type.
But
purely by virtue that he's a she.
It's funny because it's the only Tomb Raider level, I believe, that has no combat whatsoever. Like, it's entirely puzzle based and exploration based, and it actually was a nice change of pace for the series. It's one of my favorite levels in the game, I think. It just had a really eerie atmosphere. It was more about ghost sightings in Ireland, and because they believed the area was haunted, and it tells a really cool little story, and yeah, I think it's might be the best level in that game, but the game wasn't all that good to begin with, so I'll take that as you will.
To be fair, it wasn't a bad game. It was more.
Yeah, by then, it was like the fifth Tomb Raider on PS1, and they were all pretty much
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much the same story again. Lara finds a demon. Lara beats a demon.
Yeah.
Beats. Yeah, there's quite a few games actually with like set in Ireland or. Outside of the obvious joke that Left 4 Dead is set in Dublin.
Siphon Filter is one of them.
Yeah. And also Clive Barker's Undying by Clive Barker.
Yes. I think Clive Barker wrote that game, actually, yeah.
Have any of you
Clive Barker?
Like Clive Barker, yes.
He starred in it too, didn't he? He wasn't the main character, but he was definitely a few voices.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Have any of you guys played it?
We played a bit of it for we always do like a Patrick's Day special on the channel with any kind of like any Irish games you can find. So we played it 1 year, and we kind of just got sick of it after about 2.5 hours because there was actually nothing to slag off about it.
The thing about it is, it starts off really strong. Like the first few hours of that game are really good. They're really spooky, but it becomes like a fucking Doom clone so quickly, and from then it's mindless shooting from start.
It feels so much like Quake, like it's
yeah.
And the monsters in it are like from nothing. It's definitely just Clive Baker has made these up.
Yeah,
they're not. Here's the thing
kind
about
of it as well. Like we kind of like got the gist of it after like the first half an hour or so, but just when it starts opening up to the rest of the manor and just like there's just monsters everywhere and nowhere to go. It's like, well, all right then, give up.
That's actually the thing I wanted to talk about for it is the setting. It's like nowhere in Ireland looks like this place.
No.
It's just this giant manor house with a fucking huge ass greenhouse set on a coast in Ireland. Okay, that narrows it down to 15 counties.
Like, not even that though, but like
and how you stay away from those standing stones now, lad. There's a ruin on them and you don't be messing out there. It's like,
I don't mind, but the main character is the most un-Irish person you've ever seen. Like he's like buff to fuck, long brown hair, glorious beard, surname of Galloway. Like
voiced by a fucking Californian. It's Kai Wilhelmsen.
So he really nailed his Scottish accent, I must say. Just a pity he was playing a fucking Irishman.
But it's set like just after the First World War, right?
1912, thereabouts. Yeah, something on those lines.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's weird. So. I actually looked up this actor because he's so prolific. He's had 2 other roles. He was the voice of Imhotep in the Mummy video game in 2000.
Good.
He was Gandalf in a poorly received Lord of the Rings online game. So he has quite the range of accents, it seems. He can do ancient Egyptian, bad Irishman, and wizard.
All badly.
They all sound exactly the same. Crazy how that works.
Funny that, yeah.
Yeah, isn't it mad? I just wasn't a fan of that game, which is a pity because, like, as part of that series, the year beforehand we had done the Saboteur, and like we were kind of expecting the exact same hijinks, and my God, we did not get that. The Saboteur is a league of its own.
I consider the Saboteur like as one of the bad good games you can hold up.
Oh, for sure.
The weird thing is, I didn't play it when it came out, but I hear so many people say it's a great game. It's the kind of game you either love or you hate it.
It's very underrated. As a sandbox game, it's very underrated. And the thing is, like, it's the little things that make it such a fun game to play. Because, like, again, because we played it, and the main character is Irish, obviously. His name is Sean Devlin. Curious enough, he's actually voiced by Robin Atkin Downs, who would later become Kazuhiro Miller from the Metal Gear Solid games.
Oh, yeah.
And then only once you realize who it is, you can actually hear the voice. but his Irish accent isn't too bad. It's kind of like by way of Liam Neeson, but it's passable, you know, because the character is meant to be from like Northern Ireland, so he kind of gets a pass on that.
He's meant to be from up around there.
Thereabouts. Like he's about an hour away from Dublin, or as we call it, Belfast.
About an hour away from Dublin, or as we call it, England.
Yes.
But honestly, like, he's one of the funniest protagonists you'll find in a sandbox game. Like, for one, he's a fucking bullet sponge, right? I don't know what they did in the game, but they just gave him way too much health, right?
The trench coat.
So, yeah. So he'll like take 30 bullets from a Nazi machine gun, hide and cover for 2 seconds, and he's ready to go again. Like the guy
no. You're going to splice in this clip. He can get on the back of the gunner of a truck, and then when they decide not to take off, he'll get off it, and then they'll take off, and he can draw enemy fire away from the truck while running after it to the point that the truck escapes and the mission succeeds.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was fucking brilliant.
Oh, the glitch because you got on the gun too quick, and then by getting off it, you triggered the leave.
Like, I don't know if sandbox game jankers exists, but the Saboteur is full of that. Like, it's brilliant for that. But again, the great thing about that main character is that it is kind of based off a real person. You know, like, but he wasn't an Irishman in a sense. He was actually a spy called W. Williams, and just so happened, like, spying was his hobby. His actual real job was being a Grand Prix driver, and so they literally had taken his character and just made it Irish. And by God, Lord, does it work? Because the actual guy he's based off, W. Williams, does end up being in occupied France for the SAS, and he gets basically captured by the Nazis. Whereas the Irish equivalent of him decides to destroy all Nazis in France, and he does a smashing job of it as well, by the way. Because, like, Jesus Christ, like, he just murders any Nazis he sees. He's a great lad for it. But I suppose, like, his best character trait is his one-liners. Like, he actually comes out with properly, like, not necessarily Irish slang, but like Irish phrases. Like, he just rattles off certain things. Like, there's a few I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're just like properly good laughs when he says it.
Well, don't mind me, I'm just a Mick with a bomb.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. That was one of them, yeah, I think.
But he is actually carrying a bomb when he says that.
Oh, he's fucking loaded with grenades. Like, he literally, like, he's shooting out like he's fucking, like, eating them. Like, it's ridiculous. He's like fucking Kirby.
Well, now, to be fair, at the time, this was during the Troubles, so it was expected.
All Irishmen did carry bombs by law, that is true.
The Troubles happened around the same time as World War II, right? According to the British, anyway. They were so long ago, we should forget about them.
That was a few years later. Then Captain Planet nuked the whole thing, and then it was all solved.
I forgot about that. Such a good one. Who would have figured out that north-south divide could be bridged by the two of them opening a bakery?
Yes.
The whole thing was, it was the English had all the jobs in the north, and they burnt down the bakery and made Sean out of work. Which is why he threw a petrol bomb at the north side of town.
Everybody hates Sean.
To be fair, I wasn't a big fan of him after watching that episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There was so much homoerotic sexual tension in that, though. And that's just Captain Planet in general, I'll admit, but specifically Sean.
Yeah.
But in any case, any discussion of any level set in Ireland, anywhere, in any game, cannot...
It's horrifically inaccurate.
Cannot go past the Broken Sword series.
I know, that is, like, if we were ever making a list, that's like number 1, 2, and fucking 3.
It's got to be the one that's most common. Everybody usually knows the Broken Sword level. Even if they've not played it, they've heard of the goat puzzle.
Yeah. Yes. That's the thing. Like,
yes.
Infinitely
or if you've not heard of it as the goat puzzle, that bullshit puzzle.
Yes.
I
believe it's commonly known as that fucking goat. Neil.
Yeah, it's right up there with.
But Did all you guys need to use a guide to get past that part? Because I don't think my dad did, unless he secretly did it behind my back or something.
I actually can't remember. It was so long since I first played the
version
Broken Sword.
I played it on. You actually couldn't fail that puzzle. It was an updated version where they patched it out.
And I hate the director's cut for that, by the way. I really do.
You know the director's cut, it removes all deaths. You can't die in that game at all.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. It's such a pity.
You can't interact with any items that aren't critical to the game. So you can't examine the environment or anything. It's such a bullshit version of that game. You can only interact with... Yeah.
But the thing is that really hinders Lockmarn in particular, because in the original, like obviously with the director's cut, like it puts a lot of the kind of like chaff out of it, and it's kind of slightly less funnier that way. But in the original, like if you have all your items, this you just like show them to everyone in the Irish pub, and you'll get something out of it. Because again, the pub in that game is so goddamn fucking realistic to that part of the country. It really is.
You could walk into any Irish pub pre-dark times, and you would see some old fella fiddling with the snare to illegally hunt snare rabbits for his dinner. You could see the fucking fiddle player trying to woo a young girl. Just so fucking accurate. And the barman
then two lads
eyeing you up like, what the fuck do you want in my local?
It's like two lads who have like completely opposite personalities. You have one guy who's a farmhand and a complete ticko, and you have another guy who like watches television and reads books and is like so much more smarter than the town he's in. But he's 50 now and he can't go anywhere. And then there's a barman who fucking hates all of them. Like it's fantastic. But again, like the great thing about that is like if you were to show when you show like an item to say the dumb fella, he won't have a single clue what it is, and will like go on a tangent about like, oh yeah, no, I saw a clown once. Yeah, no, it was on the telly, and whatever it was. And then if you show like it was a grease paint, I think I'm thinking of. So grease paint, like the guy will go, oh yeah, I've seen a clown. But then if you show it to the smart guy in the corner, he'll tell you exactly what the grease paint is. And it's like, how do you know that? I read a lot of books. Like that's not really an answer to my question, but fair enough. But no, that section is brilliant.
The wee kid running in and out, telling everyone, "I saw a Ferrari! Oh my fucking god, there's a Ferrari!" Like, oh my god, there's a Ferrari!
I love that part. Isn't there a guard isn't there like a police officer or a guard in that chapter?
No, I think you might be thinking of.
It's not. All right, well then it's
I don't think there's a guard.
Yeah, it's then it's the trope where you're kind of like, so are you going to get the guards to go after that guy? And they're like, probably not. They've only got the one bicycle between them. They completely take it.
And an excessive acceleration between a red sports car and a bike. I put me money on the red sports car. like that's the thing. Because I like Broken Sword is one of my favorite games, and honestly, like the studio that does in Revolution, I'm a fan of most of their work. Like they do fantastic stuff. And Cecil himself is a world traveler. He loves traveling to these different places, and then that inspires him for games like Broken Sword or whatever else he designs. So like you can clearly see like there is definitely a real life context to the pub. He's obviously been in Ireland and been in pubs like that. You know, you can definitely tell that. Yeah. Because he just picks up on those characters immediately, and just the setting is brilliant. Like it is exactly as you'd expect. Like because like in the context of the game. Like there's a gem there that is like worth like it's priceless, you know, and it's like an excavation dig and it's like world famous and like everyone's talking about it. If you talk to people in the town, they go, "Oh, that fucking gem! Jesus Christ, I can't stand that fucking thing." And you know what? That is very Irish because if that happens in your local town, you're sick of it too after 5 days of it. Like,
the only people benefiting it from it are the fucking cafes and hotels.
That's it. But that's not the only Irish characters in Broken Sword, though. Like that game has a fantastic track record of having some Irish in the games. Now, 2 not so much, but in 3 there is a hilarious TV presenter. Because there's a level in Glastonbury that you go to, and he's a TV presenter called Eamon O'Mara. Yeah. Now he's kind of meant to be a bit of a. I feel like he's a bit of a spoof on Richard Madeley a little bit, or perhaps like it's kind of a dash between him and Alan Partridge in how he acts. But he's basically just kind of like drunken shambles who like just kicks into gear whenever he's presenting and stuff like that. But the joke of him is that he's kind of traveling to like all the areas of the UK as part of like a travel like show. But what he's really doing is just going to every pub and getting locked. That's essentially what he's doing. But he's a big poetry nerd, right? And he's given out because the local poetry shop is like so like shit at being a poetry shop, you know. So he's just there giving out and then rattling off like random poetry while he's doing this. So like he's the right type of character for that game because then you set him up then with like with like a row later on, and he just gets more and more Irish as it goes. And again, the accent's not too bad. You know, it is just like it's like a naturalized, a diluted Irish accent, if you will. But it makes sense because he's working in England. So,
there's a funny Easter egg in the second game involving a talking goat.
Yes.
If you do that, and apparently, I think I read it somewhere that the fifth game, because the fifth game was kickstarted.
Yes.
And there was like one of the stretch goals was if it got past that stretch goal, they would put in a goat puzzle.
There is a goat puzzle.
And they did. Yeah, there is. Like the legit, like it was just called the goat stretch goal, and it usually like boom, wouldn't even have the challenge for it. They got there straight away, like. And it's hilarious because in that part of that game, like I think it's George and Nico doing it, right? So Nico has no context with his goat. I've played it. I've played all the Broken Swords because that's one of my favorite series. We haven't done a let's play of it yet on the channel.
Yeah, it's not been done on the channel, but I've played all of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's grand because it kind of went back to basics, you know. Like, and it was a lovely like little love letter to the previous games. Like, it didn't go mad with 3D or anything like that because it didn't need to. No, it was a lovely game, like in that sense. But actually, now that just reminded me of it in Broken Sword 4, because it's a lot of it's about like the Catholic Church and Vatican and stuff like that. There is obviously an Irish cardinal, and he's probably like got the properly like comedic Irish accent, you know, and he's obviously evil as well. So he has that really high, shrivelly, you're going to go to hell voice, and you're going to get taken down by the Swiss army now coming in. And he has a lovely melody to what he's saying, but he is just like telling you you're going to like die in hell, essentially. But he just says it in such a nice way, you know, it's lovely.
Oh, number 4, that was the one with the monatomic gold concept, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah.
That was the worst game.
And the guy at the end, he's eating it.
Yes.
That's how he survived all this stuff, because he's been eating this fucking gold. I was like, how is this any of this? What?
Yeah.
Who fucking wrote this?
Oh, it was a bad one. That was a shame. But again, it says a lot when like the racist accent was actually one of the highlights of the game, really.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Yeah.
You know, in fairness, it's not as bad as I remembered, but Jesus knows it was far below their standards, really. You know, but yeah, I think if you're looking for the pinnacle of Irishness, if anyone wanted to get like a nutshell of Irishness in a game, Lochmarn is the only place you're gonna go to. Really.
Gotta go to Lochmarn, yes.
Go there and stay there and get drunk because
I get butted by a goat.
Yes,
over and over. It's still the pinnacle. 30 years later, though, isn't it? 25 years.
It is actually
perfection.
Funnily enough, Cecil actually said that they were at a European game developers thing, and one of the keynotes, not keynote speeches, but one of the main events or something like that was a post-mortem, and they had him up there talking about Broken Sword, and apparently an audience member stood up and just shouted, "That fucking goat!" You know, and there's the whole auditorium just broke their shit laughing because everybody just knew. I was like, somebody's gonna say it. So he did it. Yeah.
I don't blame them like that, because like from playing that initially, like there was actually no context to that goal at all. It's like because you're not given an option to use an item or anything like that. It is just like move left. It's like you never asked me to do that before.
Yeah. And what the solution is, you have to click really quickly over on the left side of the screen or something.
No, you have like a 5-second interval while you're knocked down to start running and hit him, and then move a rake, and then he rush you again.
Yeah, but to get him to
you only have that little window, but you don't know you're in control.
Yeah, but I thought to get George to run,
you have to actually get hit first, and then you have to go and do it. Yeah,
stupid puzzle. And there was also
it's breaking the rules of the game, because up until this point you didn't have a timed puzzle.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I remember the last puzzle in Lochmarn was also annoying, where you kind of had to wet or put. You had to do something with plaster.
Oh, the plaster! Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
That was,
you make a mold.
You had to go back to the fucking tap in the pub
to fucking wet the rag and then go back. And if you did it too slowly, and people would always be trying to get in your fucking way, like to talk to you and to stop you, so you have to go back and wet the rag again another 3 fucking times.
And if you didn't go back and remember to turn off the fucking tap, you come back later and the basement's flooded.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite lines from that level was George asking for a room in the pub, And the barman goes, "Oh yeah, sure, no, that's no problem. We'll just have to wait for the next person to move out of that room." It's like, "Oh, when is he due back?" "I don't know. It's just whenever the Undertaker comes to collect him." That's a fucking brilliant line. There's some fantastic lines in that game, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, that's that. I think that's one of the pinnacle of them. And again, like, the gas thing is, like, in the end, he does actually have to sleep in that room with a corpse. Like, that's the funniest part. And depending on how much you drink in the game, because you can drink like rake loads of points in it, and they don't specify what drink, obviously, but one of the lads at the bar says it's warm, it's got stuff in it, and it makes you fall over. So you can hazard to guess what it is. And
that doesn't narrow it down at all.
But then, no, we have one of those drinks. You play along, tell the people outside of Ireland we have one of those drinks. It's fine. It was the original hazy IPA. That's what it was. But yeah, like, so, like, if you drink like 3 of them, he's just constantly hammered then for some of the dialogue with the barman. And yeah, he comes back to Paris absolutely hungover. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, you have a good time in Lochmarn? Yeah, it was great. Place was flooded.
Don't envy him that return flight.
No, absolutely not.
To be fair, we've all been on a flight back from somewhere.
And then having to fight Templars then the day after, like, God, I don't envy him. Don't envy him. But, yeah.
To say, the only pub in Ireland they can't close is the one in Dublin Airport. And they've only managed it this time because they closed the fucking airport.
It's true. I'm trying to think, like, what was it? There was a game that there was a game we played on the channel. We played Deus Ex. And I don't know why this is latched into my head, but it's just like, there's a level in Hong Kong and they have like a rake load of accents in the game. So we are not like... the
office worker.
There's an office worker in Hong Kong who is the most Irish I've ever heard in a game. And completely incidental. Like,
it's not the place you'd expect to find him, but he was there.
He was there, doing his best work, like. And my God...
he's not incidental. Like, you can literally run past him.
Yeah.
He's just a random mook. Like, he's not mission specific or critical at all.
No.
Just that voice line just coming out of that model just kills me every time.
So much of the soldiers rate me. It's like, what? I fucking beg your pardon. Which part of Hong Kong do you come from?
Sure, I'm from Dublin.
Oh, it's brilliant. Like, it's I can't even do it justice. It's not such a concentrated Irish accent. Like, we can't do justice to that. But that was by far
clearly like an Irish guy on staff, and there's like, here, let me get in there and say a few lines, and they're like, okay. Yeah. And so he ad-libbed a load of them, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to make this a character you have to talk to.
Yeah, we had you down for like Bob Page, but we're going to give you office guy in Hong Kong, because no. We'll call you, mate. We'll call you. But yeah, no, that one I think it stands as the funniest and also the most racist Irish character I've come across in the game. Just in equal measure, like, just like, wow, all you were missing off him was a pair of leprechaun trousers and buckled shoes. That was all you were missing out of him.
Yeah, you just needed to be sinking a pint of Guinness in the office, and then that was him complete, like.
And then singing fucking like rebel songs. That was the last thing you needed. I think finding him like.
I'd watch that sitcom.
Yes, I would watch that.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to think now. I think that's all I've got anyway.
I do think we're running out of things to say unless we want to go into the Blood Rain comic that explains that our swords were made by an Irish Damphir.
What was that about the bottom of the barrel?
I'm like totally bottom of the barrel shit. Like, is it the Revent, the Re-Exile? What Japanese manga is like so much like?
Fate's Day. That one.
Fate's Day. Yes, that's it. Because we had this conversation, but Fate's Day have like just tons of Irish mythology and characters in it, and it's just It's just crazy how much into it. You're thinking, why are you using this? Like, you're Japanese. You've got a varied, ridiculously layered mythos of your own.
Well, to be fair, that the Fate series just pulls from all cultures, their hero myths. It's a great series for that.
We do have a lot of hero myths, in fairness, like even for what we are like.
But but if you want to get into terms of like, only we're kind of running out of games that like based in Ireland, developed by Ireland. But if you want to know, if you kind of want my opinion on Ireland's greatest contribution to gaming,
Matthew Matosa.
No, it's there's a little yellow symbol that most people will see at the very beginning of a lot of games when they fire it up, and it's the yellow buzzsaw symbol for the Havoc physics engine.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that was developed in Galway by two people, and that's they sold that to Intel for something like fucking 78 million or something like that. So yeah, like it's probably one of the most influential middleware kind of programs for gaming, like around.
Wasn't there another engine that was made in Ireland as well? Wasn't there?
I heard the initial development behind the Rock Band franchise was done in DIT. I think, and it was basically like a project whereby they take a music track, and if you can strip out the guitar or bass bit and not distort the rest of it. Yeah. And that's where it wound up like, oh, hang on, we can make a really good game for this. So it's like that's probably Ireland's biggest contribution to gaming, ragdoll physics.
Sorry, Ben, what was that?
Oh, I was just saying, I think you two and Tin Lizzy have been on Guitar Hero, if that counts.
So, yeah, I think that we can count that. Yeah, that, yeah.
There's a couple more characters. Well, I wouldn't count you two.
Actually, if we're going by Irish music, sure, the end theme to Metal Gear Solid is in Irish.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes, the best is yet to come.
Yes, makes for a fantastic trivia question, as I know from experience.
You were still so fucking salty about not getting your badge.
Yeah, absolutely.
A pen. Was it a pen?
Pen.
It was a pen. I was promised a pen.
I will buy you a Bic.
That's not good enough. I was promised a golden pen. But yeah, I mean that's a.
Also, StarCraft is like StarCraft 2. The soundtrack to that was done by an Irish composer. Fuck, I can't remember. It's a woman now, but I can't remember her name. Hang on. But I just remember thinking, I'll go, Jesus Christ, an Irish one did this? Holy fuck. Yeah, obviously we've said before, PUBG was an Irish guy, Brendan Green. That's player unknown. Yeah. Where the fuck? Yeah, Emer Noon. Yeah. So she's done the entire music of World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, and she also did, she did the Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary CD.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty decent discography, to be fair. Just those three alone, like.
Not bad.
Fuck no.
Yeah. Apparently, when she was studying classical music in Trinity when her and her friends were asked to be in a choir for a new game, which was called Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, that works, eh?
Interesting.
Yeah. That's quite a small world there, eh?
And I suppose then the other one to be, even though this is more of a movie or trivia than anything else, is that the Jedi archives are based on the Trinity Library, where they house the Book of Kells.
That's pretty. I didn't know that.
And on the Book of Kells, the Fool's Idol Boss and Demon Souls, her book actually has a scan of 2 pages from the Book of Kells open in it. So she's actually just holding an illustrated Bible.
Jesus, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Really
Weird
scraping
trivia.
the bottom of the barrel here, guys.
I know, come on, that was an interesting one.
Yes, that was good. That was good trivia, at least.
Now, if we were scraping the bottom of the barrel, I'd mention that all of the X-Men characters that are Irish have technically been in their game.
I think Gordon Freeman is Irish. Can we claim him?
I don't know. I've never been able to place that in his accent.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, he's clearly not put off by anything going wrong, just like an Irish person.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, like
There's a lot of Irishmen who
His
just don't
solution
go
to
through
most
life
things is
stalking.
hit it with a crowbar. So
yeah, exactly.
probably from North Dublin.
Absolutely.
We're just a farmer who's just decided not to speak to the wife anymore. Like that's what we're doing for the rest of my life. It's just like, yeah, all right. He's deliberately mute. Well, actually, is there any characters we can just claim as Irish just because they act like an Irish person?
Ooh.
Atlas does.
What are the
He acts
criteria
like an
for
Irish person.
Criteria for Irish has to be passionate, sometimes occasionally drunk, and relies heavily on luck.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one.
Now, can we think of any?
Sid from Final Fantasy VII. See?
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Very good one.
Wasn't there a Ronin character in Final Fantasy VIII who basically just has like a jug of sake and just...
Oh, Orin.
Orin, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, that could work. I'm trying to think now. It's the character I'm trying to think of, and we can't place him.
We have so few Irish characters to talk about, we're basically having to invent.
We're claiming ownership of some now.
We're inventing new ones. Well, now, in Soul
all
Calibur 4,
the mute characters are Irish. All the mute characters are Irish.
If that guy doesn't talk, he's Irish. He's just too drunk. He's too drunk to talk. Therefore, he's Irish.
They do talk.
Oh, fucking in Condemned 2, you play as this guy. What the fuck is his name? I can't remember. All I remember is you have to drink alcohol to steady your aim. He's such an alcoholic. He has to drink to steady his aim, so he could be Irish.
Oh yeah, because he's a complete he's such a booze hound.
Yeah, booze hound.
Yeah.
Ethan Thomas, is it?
Ethan Thomas. That's it. Play Condemned 2, by the way. It's a fantastic game, and Condemned 1.
Which one? No. I was about to ruin the ending of them. Could I spoil them, even though they're like centuries old at this point?
The ending of Condemned 2 is so
people got mad at us for fucking spoiling a 20-year-old game. So
the ending of number 2. Yeah, the ending of number 2 is it's the ending of number 2 where
he starts screaming fucking people's heads off. Look, that's all you have to know, right?
Yeah. He just shouts.
And people's heads explode. It's great. It's funny. It's so sad because that series started off as like a tribute to 7, but like halfway through they just went, fuck it. It's about aliens, and your man has magic vocal cords that can cause people to explode. It's fucking mad. Such wasted potential.
Yeah. Yeah, the first game was brilliant. I remember being properly creeped out by it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, if you're a nerd, definitely play Darkside Detective. Both of them. You can get both of them.
That has been the entire point of this video.
That's been the entire point.
Back around to Darkside Detective, yeah.
I mean, the amount of... There's loads of callbacks and references. If you're a proper nerd, you'll love it.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. This is why it's a round table. We literally gone round to our first point. That's how
absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, how can you not love a game where the end credits actually credit Gozer the Gozerian as on-set extra planar entity? You just...
I can't argue with that.
You can't actually... You just can't... You can't not like that.
All right. So, do you want me to?
I do feel the bottle's empty here, lads. I think we've untapped all the Irish games.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I think we spent all of our 2 hours of hurried Wikipediaing this morning.
Yeah. Okay, people. So thank you for watching. Before this video, a lot of people probably thought that there wasn't a lot of positive representation for Irish people out there, and after this video, I assume a lot of people still think there isn't a lot of positive representation.
I think we've proven you right.
Yeah.
Yes, we have busted this myth.
To be fair, we certainly aren't positive Irish.
Yeah, no, like yes.
But I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you got a few laughs and enjoyed this little discussion. So thank you for listening. Thank you. That good?
Yeah, that was good crack.
Good.